Hello world, Shelly here with Foundation Fest Day 3, and today we are going to check out the Fiona Stiles Matte Finish Foundation Concentrate. If you are very lucky, you can catch these at Ulta. They are going fast. They are more than 50% off now. They're $7.50 for some of them on a retail $30 product. So that is pretty awesome. It is not being discontinued. What they're doing is they're repackaging, they're changing the packaging for Fiona Stiles, and so the entire brand. So go to your Ulta, see if you can get any of these shades at a super, super deep discount. I've got this in the shade 01. This is the lightest shade that they've got. They have this in 10 shades total, which is not a super extensive line. The packaging is really nice. It's a frosted glass bottle with sort of a nice architectural shape detail here. Cap, pump. The only thing that drives me nuts about this foundation is that you have to put the cap on the right way. You can't put it on any which way. You have to line up that little notch with the little detail here, and that is mildly frustrating. But other than that, let's take a look at the claims that this foundation is making. Only at Ulta, so it looks like this is an exclusive. The Fiona Stiles Matte Finish Foundation Concentrate is a lightweight foundation concentrate that absorbs oil, camouflages imperfections, and delivers a long-lasting velvet matte finish. This highly pigmented formula blends effortlessly to create a soft focus effect on the skin, delivering dimensional velvet matte finish that never looks flat. Hides imperfections, evens out skin tone, mattifies with a non-oily, perfectly powdered finish. Velvet matte coverage never smudges, is suitable for all undertones. I don't know how that's possible, but maybe these are all neutral? Maybe, I don't know. Highly concentrated pigment, a little goes a long way, blends effortlessly. Yeah, so that's what we have in terms of the claims that they're making. They don't have a specification on how much coverage this is to give, whether it's full coverage, medium coverage, doesn't really say. The fact that it claims to absorb oil makes me a little nervous because those are the kinds of foundations that typically dry out my skin. I have very dry skin. This is a 42-year-old face you're looking at here. I do have some sunspots to cover up. I do have some fine lines where foundation likes to settle. So we will see how this foundation performs on all of those things, and we will do that right now. So first off, let me show you guys some swatches of how this shade of foundation compares to others that I've got in my collection. Swatch time. First up is today's foundation, the Fiona Stiles Matte Foundation Concentrate in shade 01. Second is the Pure Baradol Foundation in Porcelain. Third up, we've got the Urban Decay All Nighter Foundation in shade 1.5. Fourth is the Estee Lauder Double Wear, and that is in shade 1C1 Cool Bone. And last up, I've got the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Foundation in shade 2 Fair. Foundation Fest Day 3 is in the house, and today, as usual, I have already cleansed and moisturized, and I have primed with the Urban Decay Urban Defense Primer. We are once again going to go in with a brush on one side, the Artis Oval 7, and a sponge on the other side. This is the Ulta brand beauty sponge, and see if there is any preference. And before we get started, I just need to tell you guys, when I woke up today after wearing the Hourglass foundation all day yesterday, my skin is as hydrated and soft as it has ever been. Yeah, good stuff. Fiona Stiles is up today. Batter up, girlfriend. This is the Matte Finish Foundation Concentrates. I don't have my little palette, so I'm just going to put it in my hand. 2 pumps we'll start with. This feels like a nice mid-weight formula. It's not runny or drippy at all. That looks really smooth on the skin. Looks great in the eyebrows too. But the skin, smooth, no pores. I'd say we're at a pretty light coverage right now. I can still see freckles coming through, and this is my less freckled side, but very nice. It did even out redness very well. Very smooth so far, not settling into any lines. Nice job, first impression. Let's try the sponge side. Much lighter coverage with the sponge. Not as much going on in terms of smoothing of pores, but definitely some smoothing of texture, but far less coverage with a sponge. So let's go in with 2 more pumps and see if we can build this up. The undertone of this seems nice and neutral. It might lean slightly warm, but I think it's a pretty neutral undertone. All right, I would say we are super smooth on the texture, slight blurring of pores going on, which is always a good thing. This is not caking up even the slightest bit around my nose, which is kind of amazing. Color match, I think, is nice. This is probably my summer color, teeny bit darker than what I normally choose, but I actually tend to choose slightly lighter shades just because I like the lighter shades. I think this looks beautiful. It feels super lightweight. It's still a tiny bit tacky. We'll see if it sets down. I will probably set this with a powder. Super stoked. It is 10:53 a.m. That is our check-in time. Let me go put the rest of my face on. I will be right back. Still stoked on this one. I had no trouble getting makeup to apply over it. Everything blended out just fine. I did set it with the Laura Geller Baked Balance and Brighten in the shade Porcelain, so that happened. I think we're at a nice light medium to medium coverage. This finish is really nice. It's matte, but it is not flat at all. It's a very nice, not dry looking matte, which is pretty shocking. I'm a fan. I think it looks really nice right now. Still smoothing things, still blurring pores, not settling into lines. So far, so good. On the rest of my face, I used the Maybelline Age Rewind Concealer. On my eyes, I've got my favorite eye palette right now is not an eye palette. It's the Physicians Formula Bronze Booster. This is the matte sculpting palette, and it's really a face palette, but I love it on my eyes. And for bronzer, it's the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. For blush, it is the Tarte in Glisten. And on my lips, I've got the Rimmel Moisture Renew in Let's Get Naked. Just realized I forgot to put anything in my brows. That is going to be the Wet n Wild Ultimate Brow Mascara because I got to get out the door. I am meeting people for lunch. I will check back in a few hours with a daylight check-in, and I'll come back at the end of the night and tell you what I thought, and we can see how this thing wore. Hello, my people. It is time for a check-in. It's about 4:45 p.m., and that means we're at about the 6-hour mark, and I just got a close-up look at what's going on, and overall the finish looks really nice, but anywhere my face moves, so around the corners of my mouth, at the bottom by my chin, my smile lines, it is sort of drying up and splitting at that point, sort of breaking apart, and it's caking up just a little bit around my nostrils. But overall, I would say it looks pretty doggone nice. It's maybe the tiniest bit dark compared to my chest, but I think a really good color match for summertime for me, because I really don't get very much darker than this at all. I wear sunscreen all day, every day, but so far, looks nice, starting to break down, 6-hour mark. I will be back this evening, and I'll wrap up and let you know how it wore. Back for one last check-in. It is 8:02 p.m. and that puts us just past the 9-hour mark. And I would say for this foundation, it's got about a 5-hour lifespan where it looks really nice and then starts breaking down. It has continued to break down since my daylight check-in, and my skin is starting to feel exceptionally dry, and I can tell visually that it is exceptionally dry. I've got crepey dryness starting to happen in my under eye area. I'm feeling the drag lines on my cheeks. It's starting to feel itchy. So this formula does dry out dry skin. So if you've got dry skin, I felt really fine with it for the first 5 or 6 hours. I didn't start feeling the dryness until after that 6-hour mark. So if you're wearing this for a short evening, half day kind of event, I think you can get away with it. But for a full day, this is starting to get uncomfortable. I want to take this off so I can it itches. So, and it's the dry skin itch that's going on. In terms of how it's wearing, it is wearing off on my chin, it's wearing off around my nose. The foundation is starting to settle into areas that have dry patches, such as the sides of my nostrils, in between my eyebrows. I'm getting separation like I was at the daylight check-in on any sort of lines that I've got. It's really separating and breaking down there. I didn't have significant settling into fine lines like my forehead or my smile lines, but I did get pretty significant settling into the lines underneath my chin, my deepest lines. So I don't know how well this would work if you've got any more severe sort of lines than I do. So if I had to give a grade to the Fiona Stiles Matte Foundation Concentrate for dry skin with fine lines, I would say this is a C-, mainly because of the dry skin issue. You really can't wear this for more than 5 or 6 hours before it starts to get uncomfortable. You definitely couldn't get a full day wear out of this. I would say if you don't have dry skin, if you've got normal to combo, you might be okay. Oily skin, I bet it's fine. It's supposed to be an oil controlling type of a foundation. I think by the end of an 8 or 9 hour day, you've got just too many features in this foundation age you in terms of separating at fine lines and accentuating those lines. So I don't want my foundation to make me look any older than I am. So I'm going to go C- on this one. Solidly wearable for, I'd say, 5 hours, and beyond that, if you've got dry skin or fine lines or more lines than that, probably not the best option. So there you have it. Foundation Fest Day 3 comes to a close. Stay tuned. Tomorrow and the next day we will have the last 2 days. Remember, Foundation Fest is 5 foundations in 5 days, and I've got 2 more foundations to review for you guys. So hang in there. If you'd like to see a specific foundation reviewed in a future video, just leave me a comment down below. Let me know. If you like these foundation reviews, give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't already. If you click the little bell next to the subscription button, you will get notifications whenever I post a new video, which is 2 to 3 times per week every week. Thanks a lot for taking some time out of your day to geek out over makeup with me. I appreciate it, and I hope you all have an awesome day or night wherever you are in the world. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.